So, did Jimmy Kimmel's monologue nearly get him banned, or is it all just media madness? Let's break down what really happened, separating the facts from the frenzy, and see how a single late-night joke spiraled into a national controversy that had everyone from TV execs to politicians scrambling for answers. In today's hyper-connected world, a single moment on television can ignite a firestorm that spreads far beyond the studio walls. But how did a comedian's punchline become the center of a debate about free speech, government power, and the future of late-night TV? Let's rewind and unpack the chaos step by step. Here's the scoop. After a tragic incident at a college event, Jimmy Kimmel made a spicy joke during his monologue. The joke, which some found edgy and others found offensive, instantly set social media on fire. Hashtags started trending within minutes, with people debating whether Kimmel had crossed a line or was just doing his job as a comedian. Clips of the monologue were shared millions of times, and the internet was ablaze with hot takes, think pieces, and reaction videos. It wasn't just the usual late-night audience tuning in. Suddenly, everyone from college students to political commentators was weighing in. The debate quickly moved from Twitter threads to mainstream news, with anchors and pundits dissecting every word, every pause, and every punchline. The speed at which the controversy grew was dizzying, and it became clear that this was more than just another night of edgy comedy. Suddenly, a rumor pops up. Did FCC Chair Brendan Carr threaten TV networks over it? The story spread like wildfire, with screenshots of supposed emails and out-of-context quotes circulating everywhere. People started speculating that the government was stepping in to silence a comedian, and the phrase FCC censorship began trending alongside Kimmel's name. The rumor mill was relentless, with anonymous sources claiming inside knowledge and conspiracy theories gaining traction. News outlets scrambled to verify the claims, but the internet had already made up its mind. The idea that the government might be flexing its muscles to control what could be said on TV was both shocking and, for some, all too believable in today's polarized climate. Carr was quoted saying, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way," which sounds like something you'd hear in a mob movie, not a government podcast. The quote was picked up by news outlets and meme accounts alike, fueling the idea that Carr was playing hardball with the networks. But was it a real threat, or just a dramatic soundbite taken out of context? As the quote ricocheted across the internet, it became a rallying cry for both sides, those who saw it as proof of government overreach, and those who thought it was just tough talk blown out of proportion. The ambiguity of Carr's words only added fuel to the fire, leaving everyone guessing about his true intentions. Within hours, networks like Nexstar and Sinclair pulled Kimmel's show from their schedules, and even ABC hit pause on new episodes. Executives scrambled behind the scenes, holding emergency meetings to figure out how to handle the backlash. Some insiders claimed they were worried about FCC fines or losing their broadcast licenses, while others said it was all about protecting their brand image in a heated political climate. The stakes were high. Advertisers threatened to pull their support, and viewers threatened boycotts. For the networks, it was a lose-lose situation. Risk angering regulators, or risk alienating their audience. The pressure was intense, and every decision was scrutinized by the public and the press. The internet exploded. Memes everywhere. People chanting "Free Kimmel" outside the FCC headquarters, and viral videos of protesters holding up signs demanding free speech. TikTok and Twitter were flooded with parody videos, and the hashtag #ChuckFreeKimmel trended for days. It wasn't just fans. Celebrities, comedians, and even rival late-night hosts weighed in, turning the controversy into a full-blown cultural moment. The protests grew, with some seeing Kimmel as a symbol of artistic freedom, while others argued that comedians should be held accountable for their words. The debate spilled into real life, with rallies, petitions, and even late-night segments dedicated to the controversy. It was a perfect storm of outrage, humor, and activism, all playing out in real time. But Carr says, "Hold your horses." In interviews, he pushed back against the narrative that he had threatened anyone, insisting that his comments were blown out of proportion by the media and social media users looking for drama. He argued that his words were taken out of context, and that he never intended to intimidate or silence anyone. Carr emphasized that the FCC's role is to uphold the law, not to police comedy, or dictate what jokes can be told on television. He called for a more measured conversation, urging people to look past the headlines and consider the facts. He claims he never made threats, just shared his opinion about the responsibilities of broadcasters. According to Carr, the networks acted on their own, making business decisions based on public reaction and advertiser pressure, not because of any government order. Still, critics weren't convinced, and the debate over free speech versus responsible broadcasting only got louder. Some argued that even the appearance of government pressure was enough to chill free expression, while others insisted that networks have a duty to consider the impact of their content. The lines between censorship, self-regulation, and public accountability became increasingly blurred, with no easy answers in sight. Meanwhile, politicians from both parties jumped in, some calling Carr's remarks dangerous as hell, others demanding Senate hearings to investigate possible government overreach. Congressional committees started drafting letters, and cable news ran wall-to-wall coverage, with pundits arguing about censorship, cancel culture, and the future of comedy on TV. The controversy became a political football, with lawmakers using it to score points and push their own agendas. Some called for new laws to protect comedians, while others demanded stricter oversight of broadcasters. The stakes were suddenly much bigger than one late-night joke. They were about the boundaries of free speech in America. After a week-long suspension and a wave of Disney Plus cancellations from angry fans, Kimmel was finally back on air. He opened his return show with a heartfelt statement, clarifying that he never meant to make light of tragedy and apologizing to anyone who was hurt by his words. The audience gave him a standing ovation, but the debate was far from over. Kimmel's return was both a moment of relief and a reminder of how quickly things can spiral in the age of social media. He addressed the controversy head-on, acknowledging the pain caused while defending the role of comedy in tackling difficult subjects. The show's ratings soared, but the conversation about what's fair game for comedians continued to rage. Now, Carr is scheduled to face the Senate, and free speech debates are raging from Congress to TikTok. Lawmakers are promising to grill him about the FCC's role in media oversight, while activists and influencers are using the moment to push for stronger protections for comedians and creators. The upcoming hearings are expected to be heated, with tough questions about where the line should be drawn between regulation and censorship. Meanwhile, online communities are organizing campaigns, sharing stories of other comedians who faced backlash, and demanding clearer rules for what can and can't be said on air. The stakes have never been higher for both broadcasters and creators. The story has taken on a life of its own, with news commentators, social media users, and even people at your local coffee shop debating whether this was a real censorship scandal or just a wild game of telephone, where rumors and half-truths get passed along until nobody knows what's real anymore. The lines between fact and fiction have blurred, and the controversy has become a case study in how quickly misinformation can spread. As the story continues to evolve, it's clear that the conversation is about more than just one joke. It's about who gets to decide what's acceptable in our culture and how we balance the right to speak freely with the responsibility to consider the impact of our words. So, what do you think? Was this a genuine attack on free speech? Or just another case of the internet blowing things out of proportion? Drop your take in the comments, and hit subscribe for more drama, media style. The story's not over, and your voice matters in the conversation. As the dust settles, one thing is certain: the intersection of comedy, politics, and media is more complicated and more important than ever before. Stay tuned, because the next chapter in this saga could be just one tweet away.